Sean, what did you make of that as a hit out overall?
Oh yeah, I think it's good for the guys to start playing games, but obviously until we start testing, they're hard to gauge. I guess intra-clubs, we're happy with some things. We've got some areas to improve, but I think the guys are looking forward to testing ourselves against some real opposition.
Any standouts for you today?
Oh, we think a lot of our younger players are improving. So we're looking sort of improvement across the board. That's how the whole team's going to improve. But I certainly think the guys who are into their second years, like Jake Carlisle and Jake Melksham, and guys that have been around for a couple of years, like David Zaharakis, I think you'll see these guys really improve sharply.
Bit of a concern with injuries to Bell Chambers and also Steinberg.
Yeah, Steinberg, Ariel's just jarred a knee, so we won't really know a lot until tomorrow. And Tom Bell Chambers has always planned to play a half, so because he's been cooked during the week on the community camp. So there's no real major concerns, and hopefully Ariel will be a couple of weeks at worst case scenario.
And was that Jeddah at the end there? Did he roll his ankle in the middle? Or?
No, it was just a flesh wound, so he just opened up his shin. So yeah, we thought it was an ankle or a knee or something like that, but luckily for us, and for Leroy, no, it was just a flesh wound, so he'll be fine.
Thought Dyson Heppel was fantastic. I mean, he's obviously noticeable with his big head of hair, but picked up quite a few touches, especially in that second half. Yeah,
he's been really good along with a lot of the other first-year players. So it's really exciting for the club to have someone with Dyson's ability. And I certainly think he'll press claims early in the year because he's got a lot of ability. But we've been really impressed with a guy that's got that much talent, how he actually prepares himself, and he works hard at training. So yeah, he's been terrific.
The blokes who didn't play today, Hill, how far away is he, and what's his progress?
Well, David started running. He had a calf injury, so we expect to be able to prepare him and play a few games leading into round one, which will be great. And Tate Pears is the other one who's he's back running. He's still got a long way to go in his program, but we certainly hope to see him early in the season.
And the plan to have Hurley pretty much predominantly up forward all season, is it?
Yeah, well, he's certainly proven, I think, in his short career that he can certainly play key back, and he's been really impressive as a key forward. He's probably got more to learn up that area of the ground because he hasn't played there as much, but he's got a real presence out on the ground, and the more we can play him and expose him to the forward line, the better we think he'll be and the better we'll be.
And Eagle playing back, is that something you could see working? Or is that just an experimental thing at this stage?
Yeah, at the moment we've got Jake Carlisle, and obviously we've spoken about Michael Hurley, so that's another part of Jay's development to take an opportunity in another position because he's, to be fair, he's probably got 4 or 5 guys that are ahead of him, so to give him the best possible chance to succeed, we've been preparing him to play down back in the pre-season.
And was that a glimpse of the what might be the new game style with it seemed like all the backs and forwards pushing up one end when the play was up that end, and then leaving the open paddock space?
Oh, I think we're sort of still trialling elements of our game, and that'll take shape more across NAB Cup. So I think the defensive part of the game is obviously an important part of the game that we want to concentrate on, and we're certainly coming from 14th. We've got a long way to go. But we'll be certainly trialling a few things over the pre-season.
And a lot of frontal pressure from the forwards too. I think in that second half there was about 7 turnovers, probably inside the defensive 50.
Yeah, frontal pressure, I guess it's said a lot. I don't really know what it means, to be honest. But yeah, obviously all elements of the game are important. You've got to be able to defend and you've got to be able to attack as well. So I think we're no different to a lot of clubs and be able to prepare our players so they've got a good balance in their game.
And Kyle Reimers is a quad at the moment?
Yeah, he's a quad, so again he's back sort of running, and we'd expect him to play a few games in the pre-season, so he's probably 2 to 3 weeks away.
Have you figured out how you'll handle the 2 games on the one night yet in terms of how many players you'll play?
Yeah, I think obviously we're the first and the third game, so we've got a long gap in between. So we certainly won't be risking any players with that long break in between, but I think we've got the luxury of being able to play more players than the other 2 teams. But certainly there'll be a lot of probably sort of 7 or 8 guys that won't play in both games, and there'll be a few younger guys with opportunities to be able to press their claims in both games.
Dean Bailey said this morning you feared for teams that had, like yourselves, that had played that first and third game, but hoping that there's no injuries and all that sort of thing. Is that something you're worried about and hoping to combat somehow?
It's not ideal because obviously we don't. it's not something that we'll do during the season, have that amount of break, but we know what the situation is and we've got time to plan for it, so it's just about planning really well and preparing really well for the situation, because it's important that we do get lots of practice, because we've got lots of areas to work on for 5 or 6 weeks before round 1.
Does that mean it'll be unlikely that many players will play both games? Or
As I said, there'd be a lot of guys who will play both games, but we'll probably be 7 or 8 guys that you would expect that wouldn't play both games, because we have got the flexibility to be able to use a few more numbers than those teams that play 2 games in a row.
Mark Williams looked like he moved all right out there. What's the plans for him?
It's certainly up to Mark. He's certainly prepared himself a lot better than last season, and he's certainly improved, and he's been out on the track training consistently. So there's no doubt he's got a lot of talent, and he can pass on. He's a premiership player, and we think he can really add something to our team. We want a really competitive environment within the club, and guys pressing for. So the more guys we've got fit and healthy and performing, the better off we're going to be. And at the moment he's working to full fitness, and he's starting to perform.
Just one more, so just going back to Bell Chambers, did he not pick up a knock on his ankle in that first half?
Not that I saw, Julian. Yeah, but he may have in the ruck. There is a bit of friendly fire out there, but I certainly wouldn't expect it to interfere with his selection next week in the NAB Cup.